this length, it's one of these, and then it's another one of these, and that's all a ruler is a composed thing that has a bunch of the units on it that you're measuring with. And that's sitting in first grade. So this is another example of that probability thing where that actually is going to connect into fraction work, and it connects into measurement later in second grade, and it still is a composing and decomposing idea, but it's a little bit different than what we're doing here. So,
Sure.
So this is my thing. Nothing is linear. Even though people think everything is so sequential and you have to do this before you can do this in math, it's really not, which is really, really powerful because nobody needs to be held back. There's so many ways to get access. So this is really just a big web of things, and trying not to just make it be like this is this one way to see it. So I don't know if there's a way that you can help us think through that. Second grade doesn't have specific composing and decomposing specifically mentioned, but so the 2-3-1-1, that same idea is coming into place because now when they're looking at 2 and 3 dimensional figures, you're being asked to focus on certain things. So it's in order to measure something, you have to know there's an attribute. So initially kids see color and they see different, big and small, and then pretty soon, we can see like I'm looking at this length or how much space is taken up, all of those different kinds of attributes. So that 2-3-1-1 is the same kind of thing, sort of like this, because now they're looking at these three-dimensional figures and they need to be able to see those shapes living in there.
Sure.
And then the 2-3, the ones under that second standard, are more connected to this other measurement idea I was talking about with first grade. So again, it's a little bit of a move off of what these were about, but still the composing and decomposing idea. And again, maybe it's going to end up being a little trail off by itself. But. Okay, so third grade has the same kind of thing, and now third grade, the big idea there is that they're able to identify parallel and perpendicular. So now they're getting more specific about these attributes. Even at kindergarten, they're sorting based on what they see and what they're noticing. And now we're helping to direct their noticing to being able to see these different attributes of figures.
Sure.
So that's still kind of a decomposing idea. And then you can see building perimeter is very connected, obviously, to measurement in length that we were just looking at with first and second grade. So that one could end up being its own. If we look back at at kindergarten, what kindergarten is doing as a precursor to that is actually just comparing. So can they talk about this one was higher, lower, before, all those preposition kinds of words come into play as well? Because they're spatial kinds of attributes. And then fourth grade is where we hit this then. And I still think this is a good first video, and then we'll go unpack multiplication later. We'll actually have kinds of situations where they're going to unpack this groups idea. And division as well. So when we get to this fifth grade, so this is, the idea of area is just how many of those equal-sized parts in there, which again you can see is going to be really tied to fraction work later. But that they're actually decomposing. So this right here is just this triangle here. And so you would actually have the grid on there, and you can see that all they're trying to do is build the little squares.
Right.
So what piece do I need to cut out to add, put somewhere else to build? 4 or 4 plus 4 plus 3 plus 1. But it's a really good understanding of what area is. But later on then, we actually want to be able to see it sitting in these equal groups, because now we're going to be able to talk about it as a multiplication, with a multiplication representation. So what they did in this next step that we would be developing, we'll just start with the right triangle again. Instead of decomposing and recomposing with these little pieces to make more of these little squares, tiles, we're going to see big pieces that we can cut off and move. So we decompose and we recompose, moving in additivity. And now we've got this rectangle, and it's got 3 groups of 4 now. In other words, it is the base with the number of groups being half of the height. So that 1/2 base times height is, it's completely not living there in the way that most adults learned it. So they're taking it from moving tiny little pieces to moving bigger chunks. And we'll start with the right triangles for sure, and see how they're getting the dimensions connected there too. And then we'll go to any old triangle.
Sure.
To show the same kind of idea. And that's sitting in so 4th grade again, all about those rectangles. And then 5th grade is all about triangles. And then from triangles, we're able to do parallelograms. So we start to do some of the quadrilaterals. 6th grade finishes up quadrilaterals here. But 5th grade also takes the 3-dimensional thing a little bit farther. So remember, we're 2nd grade, was starting to recognize the figures, in 3rd grade, the parallel. Now 5th grade is going to take that 3-dimension into a volume idea. And this one, again, is so ready for your animating, because it's about collecting the cubes, and it's how many cubes, and they're just talking prisms now, how many cubes sit on the base.